Welcome to Hello You. Yes, you. The podcast that opens up the full spectrum of mental health like never before. We're not here to skim the surface. We go deep into every corner of the human experience. From international athletes to high-powered CEOs, everyday heroes to global change makers. Our guests bring raw, real, and radically different perspective on what mental health really means. This is your space, a place for truth, stories, and connection. Whether you're thriving, surviving, or somewhere in between, we're here to remind you you're not alone. So pull up a chair, take a breath, and let's talk about the stuff that matters. Welcome to the most open, honest, and inclusive mental health conversation in the world. I'm your host, Dan Darwin, and welcome to Hello You. And welcome to another episode of Hello You. Today, my guest is Alfie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Alfie, tell the listeners and the viewers now as well, everything about you.
So Alfie Ruffell, 30 years old. Been running a wellness business called Revitalise for the last sort of 5 or 6 years now. Started off with farming, so we're a CBD company. At the moment, we're a CBD company. We're going to be sort of morphing into a sort of holistic wellness company. But I started off with a cannabis farm in Spain. Out there, sort of 3 or 4 years growing and having lots of different dramas along the way. So yeah, very passionate about holistic wellness, about natural wellness.
Yeah.
All stemmed from my dad, essentially. He was given 6 months to live. He actually had 2% chance of survival. That's what they give him.
Okay.
He had a triple aortic dissection, which is, for the people who don't know what that is the main organ which basically pumps blood down to your legs and to your brain. So that's split from his neck all the way down to his hips. One of the worst cases that they've come across.
Okay.
Sort of Dr. Selim, leading heart surgeon in St Thomas Hospital, said there's nothing no one can do. You know, we've never seen anyone really get past 6 months with your severity, if you like.
Okay.
So they said, go home, sort your affairs out, and yeah, basically a ticking time bomb.
Okay.
And wasn't given any hope, essentially. And at that point, I was like, Dr. Selim, he might be a leading heart surgeon, but what does he know about natural health? What do a lot of doctors actually know about natural wellness?
Yeah.
So I got to work. I started building like a natural wellness plan for my dad. Done a lot of research into different products, if you like, or different supplements. I come across a thing called RSO, which is called Rick Simpson oil. Okay. Rick Simpson oil is actually illegal, and it's illegal in a lot of countries. And it comes from the cannabis plant, and basically it's a really, really high THC. THC is the thing that gets you high. Okay. Yeah, so hence why it's illegal. But it's very high CBD, very high THC. But I can't begin to tell you how effective it is for a medicine. It's unbelievable. Got my dad on that for the first 6 months. And, you know, it gets you high. So it's not something that you probably want to carry on doing. So first 6 months he was on that alongside CBD and CBG oil, which is what I sell legally. You know, we put our novel foods application, so we're all above board in what we do. We sell full spectrum, and that is what I was given to my dad. So full spectrum oil is all the cannabinoids together. Even the THC, but at 0.2%, which makes it legal. Okay. So just going back to what I'd done for my dad was we got him on those oils, and it was massive. It was everything had to change. Lifestyle, mindset, diet. And he had to believe in himself and his own healing powers, and had to go against every doctor who he's ever come across. Always would put him down. Every time he went to the hospital, I don't know how he's here. Yeah, so what do? We got him doing affirmations, gratitudes.
Okay, yeah.
Now, my old man, Alfie Ruffell, if people know him, he's a bit of a geezer, if you like, yeah.
Okay.
And walking into the water, holding his heart, saying thank you for my healing powers, repeating that and chanting it is something he'd never have done in his life. But when you're backed into a corner, you'll do what you need to do. And that was 6 years ago.
Okay.
He's the only survivor in the world out of 36 people with his severity. And yeah, he actually went to the hospital. He got called in about a couple of weeks ago and he had to have a scan. Then he got, like, literally 2 days later, they wanted him back in. And it was like, oh, here we go again, sort of thing. No. Basically, what's happened is, and they've never come across this before, they've got these sort of new 3D scans. They can see around the whole aorta. The blood has congealed and it's formed like a skin of like leather.
Okay.
So it's allowing the blood to pass through, because they're like, how are you still walking? Like, your blood shouldn't be getting to there. Yeah, and they've just said, we don't want to see you for another year. So beforehand, it was every time you went to the doctors, it was like, never seen this before, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, 6 years later, now he's like, not in remission, but it seems like he's getting there.
Okay.
And it was natural wellness, you know, and it was everything that I do and what I believe in, you know. For me, I thought beforehand, this all happened pre-COVID, and then when COVID happened, it stopped my previous business. So I see what the RSO, I see what the CBD done, I see what a natural plan can do alongside, you know, mindset and all. And I was like, this is my passion, you know, this is what I love to do. So during,
you can certainly see the passion.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing.
Yeah, I think it's important to be passionate about something, you know, to have that bit of purpose for sure, especially for mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was building wellness plans for people during COVID, helping quite a few people, just like I was doing with my dad, and, you know, just introducing what the plan I've done for my dad, just for other people. And it doesn't matter if it's an aortic or cancer or mental health, you know, these plans work for holistically, for mental and physical health. And yeah, I got in touch with the people who were supplying my dad the oil out in Spain and said, you know, how do I get involved? And I invested all my money into a farm. Okay. I went balls deep, went and took the plunge and went out and started farming during COVID. Bit of a weird time, because while everyone stuck indoors, I was living a luxury life of being a farmer, which was good fun, a good experience, and it's something I'm going to go back to. Okay. Just wrong partners. Okay. Regulation changes, so a lot of things were out of my control. And probably a bit of naivety as well, you know, which is all part of the learning. Yeah, with any new business, any new venture. Exactly, yeah exactly. Right. And these little failures, at the time, fucking, they're a kick in the teeth. They are. You know, really are. And you think sometimes you do just want to give up. And I think the purpose is too big. The mission's too big. I think Western world's completely lost itself. And it all stems back to money, greed and power. And who's at the top of that? It's that 0.1%. It's Big Pharma. I certainly agree with you too. That point is, for me, the pharmaceutical companies with antidepressants. We carry on with this, and the doctors are told to push this. And for me, there is no scientific data that backs up that antidepressants will cure depression. They certainly don't. They raise dopamine and serotonin levels, of course. Yeah. But, you know, I do think, yes, the Western world believes so heavily in the medicines and the things that we're pushing that we forget the holistic side of this. And things like you're saying with the CBD have been around for generations, haven't they? Thousands of years.
So
thousands of years.
And I was fascinated when Alfie and I first spoke before he agreed to come on the podcast. And I was fascinated by one of his Instagram videos where he's talking about the Egyptians using this. Is that correct? Yeah. So fill us in on that history. Tell us a little bit about that. How's CBD been used generationally?
Wow. There's stories, you know, before the test of time, cannabis. Let me just tell you something. The cannabis plant has been given this bad stigma, and I can give you the history of it. So basically, back in 1930s, there's a guy called Harry J. Anslinger. No one knows this guy's name. Mm-hmm. He's one of the most influential people that nobody knows about. And this man was the head of the alcohol prohibition. When they legalised the alcohol, he had no job. Mm-hmm. So he's like scratching around thinking, right, what can I be the head of? And back then, you know, the cannabis plant is the most versatile plant there is on this planet. You got 137 cannabinoids. Every single cannabinoid has its own specific healing power. Facts, that is. Okay. Even the THC might get you high. My God, I've had people walking out of hospices with 2 weeks to live. I've had my dad be given 2% chance survival and come out the other end. Like I've seen so many cases now. I've seen tumours shrink in brains after taking this stuff. Yeah. You know, but not just the medicine. You know, for a lot of people, like I say, I don't know, and like hemp. So I don't want to jump too much, but there's thousands of uses. You know, hempcrete, for one example. You get a hemp breeze block, and this fascinates me. You get a hemp breeze block. Why is it the breeze block is sitting as a house? It's still taking CO2 out of the atmosphere. And it's natural. It takes 3 months to 4 months to grow. Mm-hmm. And it sucks 4 times the amount of CO2 than what a tree does. And a tree takes 10 years to get to that point. 3 or 4 months. And you can chop it down, go again. And you can then put that into building materials. You can put it into food. You can put it into medicine. You know, Henry Ford, he made the first hemp vehicle. Everything was hemp. The windows, to the carbon fibre, everything was made out of hemp. And it was stronger and more durable, and you could even run the car off of hemp fuel. Okay.
So we know there are multiple uses for it, and we know, and then there's a reason why they've extracted the THCs from it to allow it to be legally used.
Yeah.
So why does it get a bad name?
So it got a bad name. So the reason being is there's this guy. I'm going to go back to this Harry J. Anslinger. When the alcohol prohibition ended, he then basically, it was the war on drugs. Richard Nixon, yeah. And he basically went to the 3 most powerful families at that time: the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and the Hearst family. Now, the Hearst, they owned the media. Back in the 1930s, all you could read the news was on a paper. Mm-hmm. Whatever they put in that paper, they can control your mind, right?
Yeah.
So he goes and Hearst at the time had just signed a bill to deforest a large percentage of America. And Harry goes to this William Hearst and says, look, he actually calls on a meeting with the Hearst family, the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, and says, you all have one issue, one flaw in your business plan. And they say, what's that? He said, it's hemp. Because at the time, you know, you had the Rothschilds having black slaves picking cotton from fields. You had all the drilling, you know, all the mining infrastructure, all underway. They've got their whole business operation set up. But they realised, and Harry J. Anslinger brought it to light, that if industry catches on to this plant, you can grow it in 3 or 4 months. You don't need cotton field pickers. You don't need your slaves. You don't need to deforest all these trees because you can just throw these seeds in the ground and you're getting more for your buck. And they all decided, okay, right, we've got an issue. What are we going to do about it? So they got their powerful influence together and they ran stories in the media. So William Hurst would run stories about the black jazz culture scene. And by the way, 1930s, how racist people were back then, small-minded, whatever you want to call them. But they were very, very racist. And Harry J. Anslinger was a racist bastard. Like, evil man, right? And had a lot of influence in the world. And when they basically done the war on drugs and they used cannabis as the gateway drug. Yeah. You take cannabis, and they was even running stories like black man smokes a reefer, goes home, kills his wife and all his kids and his animals. Like running like these mental stories. Like, if you have a joint, last thing you want to do is going to kill someone. Last thing you want to do is put your fists up. You just wouldn't want to do that.
We know the power of propaganda because that wasn't the first time it would have been running all the way through. But obviously during the World War, certainly World War II, the propaganda was the media led, and it's still to a point it is now. Although we have many sources to be able to verify from. So we move on. Obviously, the war on drugs happened. Cannabis got its name.
Yeah,
and me coming from my background of policing. Cannabis was always the devil plant,
Yeah.
And I have seen the adverse effects of cannabis.
Of course.
But we're on a mental health podcast, of course, so we're going to bring this back round because cannabis, there is scientific data to say the long-term use of the THC side of it can cause severe mental health issues.
I've seen it firsthand, and I deal with a lot of people, so I run a mental health group called Speak. Speak stands for Suicide Prevention, Education, Action and Kindness. I've seen it firsthand, especially in the city of Portsmouth. It's such a small inner city, and drugs are rife. But I've grown up with it. I was, even in school, I was jumping out of school and smoking weed. It was the norm. It become the norm. And I've seen pals of mine go into paranoia. I've got pals of mine now schizophrenia. I'm not here saying go and get an 8 for weed and smoke weed every single day. No, that ain't. Everything's about balance, right?
Of course.
I say if you have a joint, but don't let it control your life, and don't do anything too frequently. And so there is definitely negative thing, but you've always got good and bad in everything.
I agree, and I say, and I'm going to balance this out now with saying probably the worst drug on the market is alcohol, and it's legal. And try telling someone to do that in moderation. So it does come down to a human element, of course. And this, when we talk about mental health, is very individual, and people's resistance, resilience, coping mechanisms are all completely different. And we all handle it different ways. So in your, obviously the holistic side of things, where does the CBD oils improve the mental health side? What would, if someone's listening to this and they're thinking, do you know what, I've tried so much stuff, what would they try? Where would they start?
First and foremost, there's been a directive put out by our UK government. And that directive is, so this is not law, it's a directive. So they're directing the high street retailers that you can only sell isolated CBD. So what that means is, as I talked about the 137 cannabinoids, that's called a full spectrum product. If you buy a CBD isolate, you're wasting your money. It's a novelty. You might feel some effects in the first 2 weeks because it's placebo.
Okay.
You need the 137 cannabinoids, including the THC, to actually be able to bind to your receptors. So you've got CB1 receptors in the brain and CB2 receptors throughout the body. Now, we produce cannabinoids naturally. Where else do you get cannabinoids? Organic food, dark chocolate, red wine. The most cannabinoids you'll ever get anywhere is breast milk. So as an infant, the first thing you're doing to help that baby survive is giving them cannabinoids. But the problem that we have in the Western world now is that we're eating processed foods. Like, it's mostly processed nowadays. Yeah. And what happens when food is processed, you lose the micronutrients. Well, the micronutrients are the cannabinoids, hence why you get it in organic foods. But when it's not organic, you lose it. So we're all deficient in cannabinoids now. Most people, right? So when you're taking CBD, CBD stands for cannabidiol. All you're doing is topping up your cannabinoids. What I say to people is that it ain't the CBD that's going to do your healing. Basically, what CBD does, it helps your endocannabinoid system communicate with every other system within the body. This is the most mental thing that I've come across. And this is why I'm like, we need to get this out there, because we know and trust our doctors.
We do, yeah.
I think our doctors, they get into the line of work because they want to help people, right? Mentally or physically, they want to help people. They've got a good heart. They're going into it for the right reasons. Unfortunately, the medical school that they go to, the medical literature was written by Big Pharma. So when Harry J. Anslinger, this all comes back round, but when they done the drug prohibition, and certainly cannabis, when they banned it worldwide, they made every single country worldwide sign this bill about making cannabis illegal in their countries. So these doctors are going to medical school, and what they're learning is what the big pharmaceutical businesses have written. So they've written the medical literature. So when Harry J. Anslinger put this prohibition in place, what they also done is they took out the learning of the endocannabinoid system. So no doctors worldwide are being educated on the endocannabinoid system. Mm. The ECS, let's call it the ECS for short, it's the most important system within our body because it has one job. That job is to cause homeostasis, which basically means a balance. So it's crazy to me, absolutely crazy, that the most important system that causes a balance, which communicates with every other system, we're not educated on it. So it's very common sense. It's just logic. So when you take cannabinoids, what you do is you ingest it under the tongue. You leave it there for 60 seconds. It gets into your bloodstream. It travels through. And as it bypasses your receptors, it will bind to your receptor. Then what it does, it sends a signal to the ECS, and the ECS goes, right, okay, so now it's firing on all cylinders, and it can now communicate with the other systems. So if you've got inflammation in your muscles, it's going to communicate with your muscular system to say, right, we need to heal this part. We need to clear this information. That's what we need to do. We are self-healers. This is what we do. We've got this incredible power within us to be able to heal ourselves, and we don't know about it. And that's why it grates me. Then, for instance, 2 days ago, a guy up in Liverpool, he's just been given 6 months to live. He wants me to write a wellness plan for him. He got given 6 months to live. They've offered him immunotherapy, but they haven't told him about fasting and the benefits of what that can do for cancer. He's not been given a diet plan, nutritional advice. And he's been told 6 months and there's nothing they can really do. And and I just think you're just taking all this hope away from somebody, and then they don't believe that they're going to be able to survive the 6 months. So when they don't believe it, instantly, at that moment, it's like you've already lost.
Yeah, I think hope in any battle.
Yeah.
Whatever we're talking, for me, hope is the strongest emotion that gets us through. That and gratitude. Yeah. They're the two big things for me. And nobody can ever say to me, I had a conversation with someone the other day and they said, I don't want to lead you into false hope. And I said, that's not your decision to make. I will hope where I want to hope and put those wishes, those powers that I have there into that. If they don't come to fruition, then, but hope is a strong emotion and we need it because, like you say, once hope's gone, what's left? Because we've already lost the battle. So tell me then, so if we're, and I'm really intrigued by this because I said to Alfie before we started recording, because of my background, I've said before, cannabis is the devil, right? Yeah. And what it does. So when you start talking about the healing powers of CBD, the healing powers of the THC even, right? Then I have to start rethinking everything that I've believed. Yeah. It will never negate some of the things I've seen, but has it got a place within our wellness programs? I think from listening to you, yes. And it's something that has to be considered. But I'm asking myself, if I have got inflammation, if I have got a diagnosis of something, and you're saying that, the stuff that I'd go into, for example, a high street retailer, I won't name any, but if I went into one that sells these products, I would only be buying an isolate. Yeah. So how do I get my hands on the full spectrum product that you talked about?
You have to go online. You can only buy this stuff online.
And is it legal to bring in?
It's legal to sell online.
Okay.
And it's legal to sell in shops. It's just a directive.
So most of the high street retailers are obviously going to comply.
They all comply. Yeah.
Because you would.
Yeah, and because if you don't comply, then you start running into headaches, and you don't want that in your business. So just comply. And so they're not relying on CBD sales to run their business,
Yeah. So for you then, you're selling the full spectrum.
Yeah.
And what sort? Give me some good benefits. If I had, when I was probably for me one of my darkest times, certainly the last few months actually, I've really been dealing with the grief of my dad passing.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And grief is a funny thing because it's not a mental health issue per se, but it is one of these things that they say it's got stages, and I've bounced around many. Would CBD assist me in this process?
Yeah, 100%. And I've given it to a lot of people for grief. Give it to my mum as well when I lost my nan in the last year, and it was really hard for her. Look, I say this, and it can be quite hard to believe, but because of the ECS, the endocannabinoid system, communicating with every system within the body, then it will help with anything. But it's not going to help. You're just firing up your ECS for your ECS to work. So for instance, when you are dealing with grief, it can be a real hard road, and you're living it, and it can be sadness and all the rest of it, and then you can knock on to other things. It triggers other parts of mental health and things like this,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just causing a balance within the brain, within the body. So it 1,000,000% help. Yeah.
And so I'm intrigued by this as well. So people are going to go online and search for this now, right? They're going to listen to this. They're going to listen to you and think, do you know what? I've not tried this. I've been on serotonin. I've been on sertraline. Get my serotonin levels up with sertraline. I've been using fluoxetine. I've been using amitriptyline even to a point. Some of them might get so exhausted by these things and they make you feel so bad. So they're going to come on, they're going to search. What's the name of your business again, Alfie?
My business is called Rio Vitalize.
So Rio Vitalize. So they search that up. What would they be expecting to pay for this sort of product? What?
So ours is a premium product. We've farmed it ourselves. We farm on a biosphere reserve, or farmed on a biosphere reserve. I'm just moving my business now to Europe, my operations to Uruguay, for legality reasons, and it's actually a really great place to grow as well. We've got a partnership with the Uruguayan government. Anyway, it's a premium product.
Yeah.
So it's £90 for the 1,800 milligram oil. Now, I say that if you're going to start out on your CBD journey, start on the highest one. The reason being is because you want to get a top up, a build up of cannabinoids straight away. What they do online is clever. It's marketing tactics. It's a way to get you to spend more money with them for a longer time. It ain't about money. Listen, with more people we can help, the money's always going to follow. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
So it's mad, really. We've got to a stage with the oils being sold on the market, with which you're going to go, oh, that's cheap. Oh, that's in a 30ml bottle. That's bigger and it's cheaper than that one. No, when it's in a 30ml bottle, it's being diluted down 3 times. So if it's saying it's a 1800 milligram product, it's not. It's 600 milligrams because it's been diluted down 3 times. But your average consumer's not going to know that. They're just looking at a bottle going, 1800, 2000, 24,000. That's so much better than Real Vitalizers. Ours is in a 10ml bottle. We're true to what we say. You don't need to have a mouthful of oil. 2 drops. 2 tiny little drops. That's it. That's all you need. No one wants to have a mouthful of oil. But if you're having, a 30ml bottle, 1800 milligrams, then you're just going to be filling your mouth up of oil, and it won't last as long as it should do. So we just say, right, 2 drops in the morning, 2 drops at night, 240 drops in a bottle is going to last you 8 weeks. So 90 quid, 8 weeks, it's like 11 quid a week for something that's actually it's life-changing for some people. It really is. When
you think of a cost of prescriptions now, what's the prescription cost? Do we reckon £11 to £12 now?
Exactly. And I'm not being funny. Listen, you've experienced it, Dan, yeah? These antidepressants, mate, it's ruining society, I believe. It literally, it's not just, you're not just like numbing your nerve, you're numbing every part. You're not just you're not feeling sad, but you're not feeling happiness.
I think for me, I'm truly on board with the holistic approach. Was I when I first got diagnosed? No, because I'm very much like you. Went to the doctor, believe what the doctor's telling me. He's giving me drugs that are going to make me better. Yeah. And why would I not believe that? I think you go away and you learn. And listen, I will never say to anybody, don't take antidepressants. If you feel that's right for you and it works for you, then that is your individual choice. And there is certainly a place for Western medicine within the mental health journey. I think we just overlook the holistic side. Yeah. And that's what we do. Because if I've got bipolar or paranoia or schizophrenia, then I want some mood stabilizers, and Western medicine is great for that. Yeah. And I think that we have got some things that do work, but I would never sit and say to someone, don't take antidepressants, because that's their individual choice. But have they explored the other things that are out there?
Yeah. And most of it's free. And that's why we don't know about it, because it's not in anyone's agenda to tell you, because they're not making money from it. And I
actually spoke to Alfie the other day and said, you know what, I'm at the point now where I'm going to try CBD oil.
Yeah.
Because I think it will help me on this journey that I'm on currently. And I'm getting older, still trying to play sports, so I have information.
Yeah.
So, and I want to see what this is like. And who am I to sit here and say, I haven't tried it. How can I ever validate anything from a mental health perspective without trying that full spectrum product? So I did approach Alfie the other day and said, I'm going to be trying this. This is the next thing. But I want the listeners and the viewers of this podcast to understand there are other things out there.
100%. Listen, I build these wellness plans. Yeah. The reason why I say to people, look, I'll give you a free wellness plan alongside, because I just want them to know, like, just getting outside in the morning for 10 minutes, sun on your face, and getting that bit of fresh air, and you're moving. You don't have to go kill yourself. You ain't training for a marathon. Just get out and move, and like, it's free. And that just 10, 20 minutes of sun, that vitamin D, that's enough to really kickstart the day. And then it's the small little wins, right? And then, just looking at your diet, fasting, intermittent fasting, unbelievable for you. Like, people need to look that up. Like, breakfast is break fast. Yeah. Like, we've unfortunately, I don't like to be going down this road of constantly talking about like conspiracies, but unfortunately we've all been like grown up like breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and, you know, eat 3 times a day, and in between those, eat. And it's just because they just want you to spend more and more and more money. And like, you look at society now, we're not functioning right. You know, we're all battling with our own mental health. You know, obesity's gone through the roof.
Yeah.
It's gone backwards.
Yeah. Food for every human's important because of we structure our day around it.
Yeah.
And we do. We
say, and it's a community thing, right?
It is.
We should really respect our food. Like, give gratitude to our food, because it's the most important thing for us. You know, when you sit around and as a family, like, bring that back. Like, now it's just like sit in front of the TV, like just zombies. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, we should really like, we don't need to eat 3 or 4 times a day. You don't need to be spending so much money on food all the time. And, you know, just going back to what you're saying, like, what else can you do? There's so much that can be done. And but you've got to take control of your own health. We all want someone to go and rip the Band-Aid off for us. We want that external thing to come in and do it. No.
I've definitely seen that as a, you know, I do a bit of coaching and I'm a trained counsellor. I've certainly seen that where people want you to fix them.
Yeah.
And
never gonna happen.
No, it starts with you.
100%. It has to. And we've all become a little bit lazy. We're all a little bit distracted. You know, we've got these things in our pockets that are just stealing our time. And I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. You know, it's designed to keep your attention.
And hopefully some of our listeners will be scrolling and watching some of this. So,
of course. You know, we want to use it to our benefit.
Of course. One
big thing that I've implemented this into my own life and it's really helped. Unfollow everybody. Unfollow everybody and follow people who inspire you.
Yeah.
Follow things that interest you. So you're not doom scrolling. When you're scrolling, you're learning. When you're scrolling, you're getting a bit of motivation. When you're just looking at everyone else's life, it's pointless.
Yeah, sometimes it's detrimental as well.
100%. 100%. As part of my plans is go and do a clear out on social media, phones, whatever. You know, it's
and I think you're right. You know, for me, my journeys have been about education, self-education, because only self can fix self. So I've educated myself. Yeah. I've done my counselling. I did my personal training and nutrition stuff. Yeah. All plays into how my mental health works. Physical health, mental health, so entwined. But educating yourself, listening to you this morning has educated me a bit more. So I've got something else where I can say to people, have you tried this now? Something that I didn't have in my toolbox before. And I think you're right. Education is key. And do we follow the right people? Sometimes not. And sometimes you have to go out your way to learn some of this stuff and research it. The only thing I find, it goes back to the food stuff as well and training and physical health. And it goes back to what you're saying about Instagram. So many people on there want to make a name for themselves that they put so much rubbish out that is not scientifically backed. It is just for views. And it hurts humans.
Sad, bro. It's sad.
Yeah.
It is, because it's ruining.
Because for me, I see in the gym, I go into the gym and I do the basics. Yeah. I've done the basics to get to where I am. But I see some young lad, maybe 21, 22, testosterone at their peak, and I'm seeing them and they're beasting themselves. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm doing the Rock's workout from Instagram. I can say, buddy, The Rock is not doing that when he goes into the gym each day. That's for Instagram followers. He will go in and he will do his deadlifts. He will go in and do his bench press. He will go and do all the compound movements, the basics that he's been doing for 35 years to get to where he is. Yeah. He may have had some extra performance enhancers on the way, but he's definitely not been doing the Instagram workouts that are on there. No. So it goes back to what you're saying, is that we put some stuff out that is not educational.
It is, yeah. And you know what? I've been guilty of, like, you know, not wanting to post something, or because you don't, you know, might damage your ego a little bit, and you want to be seen as successful, so these people can then, you know, they gravitas towards that. Yeah. But you know what? I've literally, in these last couple of weeks, I've just sort of launched my YouTube channel. So I'm doing some like long form content, and I'm being real. Like, I ain't doing this bullshit fake on social media. I want to be real, and like, I moved to London. I've moved to London now, right? And so I've been there about 3 months. I moved there to launch a blood sampling app, a joint venture with Revitalize and another company, a couple of doctors that I met at House of Lords. We've now set up this business, right? We've had developer go ghost on us. It's been 3 months late in launching. It's been hard. And, you know, I've actually found myself having to now work in a butcher's nights. So I work from 11 till 8 a.m. I finish my shift, and then I'll work up until 6, and then I'll go to bed, 4 hours kip, and then up again at 10, and then go to work again. Like, I really didn't want to have to go and do that, because I want to be seen as like this successful businessman, because that way people are going to, like I say, gravitate towards that. They're going to buy products from that. But actually, do you know what? I just sort of said to myself, nah, like, people need to know what entrepreneurship's like. People need to, you know, you want to be the change that you want to see for the world. You need to be the change that you want to see in the world. So if you're not being real and authentic, then how can you expect other people to be like that?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree.
So you got to set that precedent.
Showing warts and all.
100%. 100%. It ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
No. And
it really ain't.
I think I've had this conversation before where people think because you've got your own business or because you're an entrepreneur that you're driving around in flashy cars and you've got money shooting off the hip. It's not how it is. It takes a lot of hard work, the roller coaster of emotions. Yeah. And the mental health aspect, and this is, I want to bring it back round as we finish off the podcast. I want to speak to you about Speak.
Yeah.
And the reason that drew me to you, there was two, was the CBD stuff, because I think it has a massive benefit towards the mental health wellness side of things. But also, I saw a passion in you to help people that are struggling with mental health issues.
Yeah.
So tell me about Speak. Why did Speak form?
I lost a close pal of mine, Mason Peddle, just life and soul of Pompey. Knew everybody, good mates with everyone. Just, you know, this is someone who, from the outside, you'd think he's flying. Great body, great banter, money. You'd think that person's got
good footballer.
Good footballer. Yeah. You knew Mason, didn't you?
Yeah, played in teams with him around there. Yeah. So yeah. Portsmouth's a small city. You end up playing grassroots football against a lot of people, don't you? So
So I played for his team. My brother used to play for his team as well. So yeah, we played football a little bit together. But I've always been either running a car dealership in Yeovil, I've been out in Spain. So you lose a lot of contact with a lot of people just because, you know, you start to get that tunnel vision, you're just cracking on with life. But when we lost Mason, we then, you know, lost several other people in the city who sort of circles of people. And, you know, then I come to learn about Portsmouth being one of the worst in the UK for young male suicides. I actually only learnt last week that Portsmouth's got the highest amount of betting shops for the small area it is.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Portsmouth is one of the most densely populated cities in the whole of Europe. Yeah. And you know, there's a lot of things that come with that. One of the things is that we are living on top of each other because it is an island, essentially still. Yeah. But I always describe it as a village. Yeah, it's got that mentality,
100%.
And you can understand that it has got a lower education level. Yeah, so you can understand how that breeds the mental health issues. Yeah, of course. The suicide stuff. Obviously, men are more likely to take their own life, 3 times more likely to take their own life. And what we're seeing is that key demographic that used to be 45 to 54 would be the people that were taking their own life. We're seeing that drop. And we're seeing a lot more young males take their own life.
Kids are taking their own lives. That's crazy to me.
Well, I think up until, as a male, I think, do we ever grow up? We're always this Peter Pan, but certainly we're not mature until well past 25, I would say. Yeah. Because at 25 we think we know the world, but we really don't. Yeah. And there's still no outlet. It's still not safe to talk about at that age.
No.
It's getting better. It's better than it was when I was that age. Yeah. But your general 25-year-old in Portsmouth is not going to talk suicide. They're not going to talk to you that they're thinking about it. They're not going to talk to you about their problems.
Mate, people, listen, I come from a big family in this city, you know. I know a lot of people. I'm the youngest of 4 brothers. And, you know, you see it firsthand with Pompey being this small village-like city, everyone knows everybody, right? And me having a CBD company and having a cannabis farm in Spain, people will get talking, right? I got a lot of people to invest into the farm. You know, it was part of somebody else's project. I invested my money into somebody else's project, the cannabis farm. You know, it was cannabised through it wasn't revitalised. Regulations changed. We had 1.2 tonne of flour held up, couldn't even sell it, couldn't even move it. You have 34 investors from Portsmouth all now hating on me. And you get these Chinese whispers, and everywhere you go, something gets said, and it got to a point for me. I was like, I need to take myself away from Portsmouth, and then actually doing that, it's like weight's lifted off your shoulders a little bit, to be honest. And I think when all of that happened, and you know, you have this business plan, and you think that you're going to be millionaire, make an impact, and then boom, it all comes crashing down, and then you've got all these different voices and people speaking, and a lot of it is lies, to tell you the truth. It got hard for me. I ended up having a mental break. I was doing this stuff. Like I got invited to the COP28 in Dubai to go and speak on stage. I then got invited to the World Peace Summit in New York, and I spoke there, and I started speaking on all these stages about mental health, and I thought I was doing loads for mental health. And then I had my own mental breakdown. Honestly, I actually felt like I was gonna have to get sectioned. Like, I don't know, I felt like I might have had burnout before, but this was like, I ain't lived with my mum since I was 13. I took myself around to her house, and I just broke down. And I've never done that. Thinking that I think I've got a stoic mindset. I believe I'm strong. And I broke down in front of my old dear. And I was actually like rocking on the end of like this bed, like pulling my own hair out. And it was uncontrollable. And it was only my mum quickly got both my Sonny and Charlie round to come and see me. And they was like, what's up? Pull yourself together. I opened up. I told them everything that was going on in my life. And they're like, ow, like, no wonder why, Mash. Like, come on, like, we need talk about it. Literally, that hour passed, and I felt like a new man. Because I spoke up. I got it off my chest. And there's me speaking on stages, thinking I'm doing and I wouldn't even take my own advice. And we're all our own worst enemies for that. We are. And a week later I set out to speak. And I was like, right, I need to be the change that I want to see, right? So let's set this up. Let's get people speaking. And so to speak, like I said, suicide prevention, education, action, kindness. That is suicide prevention, right? Education, action, kindness, you know? So I set that up, and we do a thing called peer-to-peer support. So that's a walk from Clarence Pier to South Prey Pier. We've done it this morning, 8 o'clock. I run this with a guy called Simon Flannery, great guy in Portsmouth, very well educated in wellness and physical wellness and now mental health as well, because he's really thrown himself into this for the last year. We're just about to start our online meditation classes. So a while back we was doing sort of because I'm not in Portsmouth anymore, it's a little bit harder to manage it all. And then on a Monday, Simon does a group fit, and it's all free of charge. So we're trying to do like meditation for like the mental health side, the group fit for the physical, and then we got peer to peer, which is raising awareness, giving a safe space. Just to have a walk down. Like people are like, oh, I ain't going for a walk and like airing all my. Don't even need to do that. Just get out, get the sun in your face. Have a chat about general stuff. You ain't coming here to pull your heart out and tell me all your darkest, deepest secrets. I don't want to, But
if you want to.
If you want to.
Yeah, it's there.
This is the space to do it.
That's it.
And we encourage it, and there's not many places where you can go and do that. You need a group of like-minded people who are all aiming for the same thing, which is progression and to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that might be. We can help with career, we can help with relationships, and when we say we can help, the community within Speak can help each other. Like, that's what it is. Like,
that's what I'm trying to build here with this podcast is community, safe space, somewhere people can talk. And you're right, you're an inspiration in talking about that. And I know the reasons why you've said you've done it. And we are all guilty of not taking our own advice. The amount of times I say to people, you can do this, this and this. At some point, I have to listen to my own advice and go off and do it. And I think in that respect, you've been an inspiration, because not only are you being the change that you want to see in the world, you're inspiring others to be able to follow that lead. And by creating the space, all humans, we crave community, crave connection.
We're social beings, right? We need community, and we've lost that. We've lost that over time with social media and just...
I couldn't agree more.
Just the way we are. And that's why men are struggling. Like, back in the day, it was, right, lads, meet up the pub, beer, and you talk about your problems.
Yeah, I sort of agree, and then I don't.
No, I'm saying that's what they did do back in the day.
That's how they tried to do it.
I'm not saying it's the right way to do it.
No.
But there was still that sense of community.
Yeah.
Now it's behind a screen, and it's literally you're going out and you're just getting pissed, and like I say, you know.
I think you look as well. Grassroots football teams are folding left, right, and centre. So there's not as many people to do that anymore. Those communities where we used to go and have that ability to release, they're disappearing. And I agree, generationally they used to go to the pub.
That's what they used to do.
Did they ever talk about their problems? Probably not. They used to just have a bit of banter and get drunk and think that they had aired their problems. But we all know how bad alcohol is in terms of depression.
It's terrible.
Probably just prolongs it, really. We have learned a lot and we have progressed a lot, but we have still lost the ability to communicate. A lot of awareness raising, great, but we need to do some action with it, and that's why I like Speak, because it has got the action element.
I think, listen, you can talk and talk and talk, which is one good aspect of it, you know, to talk, but you also need to action, and that's getting up in the morning. It's doing the do, you know.
And you creating that environment, it's a coping mechanism. For some of them, they might not turn up and want to talk, but they've got out and done some exercise. And we know how key that is.
Yeah, honestly, don't understand how much it's helped me. Let alone, I'm trying to help people. No, it's actually really helping me as well, you know. And Simon, who's doing it, it's really helping him, you know. And honestly, like, the success stories we've had, like, people who've come in who, you know, drug addicts, like, their life was upside down. They were really depressed, and now they're thriving. They're not using anymore. And there's one guy in particular, is Bradley Williams, and he wouldn't mind me saying his name because he's become a part of this group. And I've just watched him from the moment we set up this group. He joined us. He hasn't used. He hasn't touched alcohol. Him and his missus, like, he's in great shape. Even his missus, she obviously is not using no more. The kids, they've got this beautiful, like, amazing family bond now, which they didn't have before. And now they're like, I've just watched this family, like, grow into something special. And it was just through having that sense of community and that somebody to hold you accountable and to be able to pat you on the back when you have done it. Because we want recognition.
Always.
We're searching for that.
Yeah.
And we need someone to go, oh, mate, do you know what? You've inspired. And that gives him a little boost of...
It's something we don't do enough.
100%. We don't big each other up.
We should.
Big each other up. We're all going through... We're surviving every day.
Life is hard.
It's hard.
And
it's only... so...
I think for me, that I've always said, right, not everybody's going to want to talk. And that's fine, right? This good to talk campaign, or it's okay, you know... Great, but not everybody's going to want to do it, and they shouldn't be forced to.
No, and like you said at the start of this, like, everyone's different. We've all got a different, you know, we're all wired differently. Yeah. But, you know, so if you can go, and this is why holistic, offering different things is the right way to do it, not just antidepressants.
Yeah.
Like, it's
not doctors' fault. We've said earlier, they don't get taught and everything. They get 15-minute consultations now. How can they judge anyone in 15 minutes?
They can't. I feel so sorry for them because they're in the line of work because they want to help people. They come from a good heart and they ain't got the resources.
No.
They ain't got the time. They're overstretched. The money side of it,
and even the things where they can refer you on to now are so stretched, and the waiting times for NHS counselling. You know, we're so lucky to have the NHS and to have this counselling provided free of charge. But the waiting lists are huge because life is so hard and people are struggling with everything that's going on right now. Mm-hmm. So when we can set up these little communities, that is the win. Yeah. And to see something that you've seen, that makes you go, this is why I'm doing it.
100%, yeah.
And do you know what? I get choked up a little bit there because I know how important that would be to me, having that. I didn't have it. I found my own path, which was probably harder. But now knowing that from that experience, I'm trying to set up communities. I'm trying to help other people with setting up communities because it is the most important thing. And certainly for men, let's get men together and talk. And I'm not saying that women don't need it.
Yeah, and like you said, you don't have to talk about your problems.
No.
Let's just talk about, like, you know, what happened the weekends, football or whatever it might be, aspirations. But we need to get together and we need to start supporting each other.
Yeah, breaking that male ego down.
100%.
That's the bit. And that's the bit why women do need to talk, yes, of course. Mm-hmm. They don't always have the same ego where, you know, I had to appear strong. You know, I had to be the man. And I was always taught by my dad, boys do not cry.
Yeah. Big boys don't grumble.
So we've got to get on with it. And it's changing that. It's breaking that stigma down to say, you know, feelings and emotions are all right to express. Mm-hmm. They're not a vulnerability. No. They actually make you stronger eventually. Yeah. Because they drive you. Mm-hmm. It's just learning to listen to them, learning to live with them. Yeah. And using them. Yeah. And I have so much admiration for the entrepreneurial stuff you're doing and the grind you're putting in to do it. And that does go unrecognised, the grind you're having to do. And I did see your Instagram stuff of you starting in your butchers, doing those bits. And anyone wants to follow Alfie on Instagram, what's your handle?
It's Alfie M. Ruffell 1.
So if you want to follow and see his journey, and he does put some good stuff out there for anybody that does want the educational side and anybody that wants to learn more about CBD.
And it's real. Yeah. You know, you're not coming on here, it's not polished, it's not me, you know what I mean? Just trying to show all the successes and the glam. Like, nah, this is real. And hopefully, you know, I can inspire somebody, whatever, I don't know, just yeah.
Well, you've definitely educated me today.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No problem at all. Thank you. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being you. This was Hello You, where real conversations create real change. If today's episode moved you, challenged you, or simply made you feel seen, then share it, talk about it, and be part of the ripple. And remember, no matter where you are or what you're facing, you're never alone in this. We're building something together, and there's always room for you. I'm Dan Darwin, and until next time, be kind to your mind, be kind to yourself, and hello, you.